Have you ever woken up with this invisible pressure sitting on your chest? Before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already racing. Thoughts spiral out of control. Did I forget something? Am I doing enough? What's wrong with me? You breathe in, hoping it'll settle, but it doesn't. That quiet panic follows you into your day like a shadow, and no matter how many times you smile, nod, or say, "I'm fine," you know you're not. That's anxiety. Not the type people talk about casually, but the kind that quietly consumes your life. It's the fear that lives in the background of everything. It's not just in the big, dramatic moments. It's in the little ones too. The text you didn't reply to, the decision you second-guessed, the conversation you've replayed 100 times in your head. Now, imagine living like that every single day. Some do. Maybe you do. You try to push through it, telling yourself to be strong, to be grateful, to stop being so dramatic. But deep down, there's this haunting question. Why do I always feel like this? Why can't I just be okay? That's the part that hurts the most. Not just the anxiety itself, but the loneliness it drags behind it. You start to believe something's wrong with you, that everyone else has it figured out, that maybe you're just not built for happiness. But that's not the truth. That's anxiety speaking. And today, we're not just going to expose it, we're going to start taking back control, one honest step at a time. Anxiety doesn't show up as a villain. It wears a disguise. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism, like always needing to do more, be more, achieve more, because anything less feels like failure. Other times it looks like avoidance. You cancel plans, ignore messages, put off tasks. Not because you're lazy, but because the thought of getting it wrong is paralyzing. Can also look like overthinking. You analyze every word you say, every look someone gives you, every possible outcome to the point where your brain feels like it's on fire. And what's worse, you're painfully aware of it, but that doesn't make it stop. You might look at your life from the outside and think, why do I feel this way? I have so much to be grateful for. And that's what makes anxiety so cruel. It doesn't care how good your life looks on paper. It doesn't care if you've checked all the boxes. Because anxiety isn't logical. It's emotional. It's the part of your brain that wants to keep you safe, but has no idea how to shut off the alarm. You live on high alert, constantly preparing for the worst. And the worst part is no one sees it. You could be the most put-together person in the room and still be drowning inside. But here's what you need to know. Anxiety does not define you. It is not your identity. It is a signal, not a sentence. Where does it come from? For some, it starts young. Maybe you grew up in a home where emotions were dismissed, where you were told to be quiet, to be strong, to not cry. Maybe you were praised only when you succeeded, and so your worth became tied to achievement. Or maybe you were bullied, abandoned, or forced to grow up too fast. These wounds don't just disappear. They form beliefs. I'm not safe. I'm not good enough. I have to be perfect to be loved. These beliefs feed anxiety like gasoline on a fire. And unless we pause to understand them, they run the show. But sometimes, anxiety doesn't come from trauma. Comes from pressure. The world we live in today is fast, loud, and constantly connected. We're bombarded with other people's highlight reels. We see success stories, picture perfect lives, and we compare them to our behind-the-scenes chaos. It creates this crushing belief that we're falling behind, that we're not doing life right. And so we hustle harder, work longer, smile wider until we crash. It's unsustainable. It's unhealthy. And yet it's normalized. That's why understanding the root of your anxiety matters. Because you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. Let's talk about what anxiety takes from us. It steals presence. You can be in a beautiful place, surrounded by people you love, and still feel 1,000 miles away. It steals peace. Those moments where your mind could be still, but instead, it's a battlefield. Steals sleep. Steals joy. Turns simple decisions into impossible ones. It makes you doubt your intuition. It makes you afraid to dream big. It can sabotage relationships, because you're constantly questioning your worth, your choices, your place. You may withdraw, lash out, or settle for less just to feel a little more secure. But the worst thing anxiety steals is your sense of self. Over time, you start to believe that you are your anxiety, that your thoughts are truth, that your fears are reality. But that's not who you are. You are not the racing heart, or the sleepless nights, or the tears you hide in the shower. You are the soul fighting through it. The part of you that wants better. The part that's still here, searching, hoping, believing, even if just barely. That part. That's the real you. And it's stronger than anxiety ever will be. Now we shift. Because this story isn't just about surviving anxiety. It's about reclaiming your power. The first step. Awareness. You can't change what you're not willing to see. Start observing your patterns. What triggers your anxiety? Is it certain people, places, thoughts? Write them down. Name them. Because what we name we begin to tame. Next. Self-compassion. This is the hardest part for people with anxiety. You beat yourself up for feeling this way. You think, I should be over this by now. But healing doesn't respond to shame. It responds to care. Talk to yourself like you would a friend. You wouldn't tell someone you love to get over it. You'd hold them, sit with them, remind them they're not alone. You deserve that same grace. Then tools. Therapy is powerful. Don't wait until you hit rock bottom. Journaling, mindfulness, breathing exercises, movement, even medication, these are not weaknesses. They're tools. And when you find the right ones, you start building a life that supports your nervous system instead of punishing it. You build routines that soothe, boundaries that protect, relationships that nourish. You stop trying to fix your anxiety overnight, and instead you learn how to live with it, with love, with patience, and with intention. Here's something people rarely say. Anxiety, while painful, can also reveal your greatest gifts. Think about it. If you feel deeply, you probably love deeply. If you overthink, it means you care about doing things right. If you're anxious about the future, it means you're dreaming of something more. These are not flaws, they are features. When understood and guided, anxiety can sharpen your empathy, can deepen your emotional intelligence, can give you the drive to create, to improve, to connect. Many of the world's most thoughtful, creative, and compassionate people live with anxiety. Doesn't stop them. It fuels them once they learn how to harness it. And this is where transformation begins. When you stop viewing anxiety as the enemy and start seeing it as a messenger. It's not saying you're weak. It's saying you need care. It's not saying you'll fail. It's saying, slow down, there's something here to understand. When you listen, not with fear but with curiosity, something incredible happens. The fear lessens. The power shifts. You move from victim to observer, from overwhelmed to empowered. So if you're still watching this, let me speak to that brave part of you that refuses to give up. Yes, anxiety is real. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it can feel like it will never end. But also, yes, it does get better. Not all at once. Not in a single breakthrough. But slowly, surely, beautifully. Through honesty. Through healing. Through learning that you are not alone and you are not broken. You are becoming. And in that becoming, you're uncovering a version of yourself that is wise, grounded, and unstoppable. Take this with you. You are not your thoughts. You are not your fear. You are not your past. You are the awareness behind it all. You are the one choosing to keep going, even when it's hard. And that choice, that's everything. That's your power. And no anxiety can take that away from you.